9.
The Radio Whammo Breakfast.
Suckling on the teat of tech.
With Paul Brislen.
Talking high tech, twitter.com/Paul Brislen. Good morning to you, Paul.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Very good. Let's continue the conversation we had last week. We were talking about Nokia's email of doom.
Nokia, yes.
That was sent round.
This was saying, we're doomed. We either bite the bullet, jump into the freezing wastes of the ocean, or burn to death on the raft that is burning. Which doesn't sound like much of a choice, really, does it?
What I heard about that email, that email was actually a hoax. However...
Oh, really? That's so disappointing.
It was a hoax, but I think it aptly described exactly what was going on in Nokia because of the decision that's been made this week.
Well, that's right. So Nokia owns the Symbian operating system for cell phones. Symbian is the world's #1 smartphone operating system. Did you know that?
No.
No. And there's a reason for that. It's kind of smartphone by default. It's the smartphone we had before we had smartphones.
Yeah.
And so it's got this huge installed customer base. But do you call them a smartphone? Probably not. And poor old Nokia struggled with the birth of the iPhone, with the sudden bursting onto the scene of Google with its Android operating system. And so it's decided to get into the whole thing by, as far as I can tell anyway, dumping Symbian. I'm sure it'll still have a few, but basically moving to a new platform. Windows.
Yeah,
Windows.
Windows Phone
7.
Windows Phone 7, which we've talked about on the show before, and is a it's an impressive smartphone operating system. It
is, and from as a move from Symbian, it's a giant leap up.
Yeah,
I've got to say, in terms of functionality and adaptability, you can certainly have lots and lots of people developing apps for you. But sadly, the best thing I think you can say about Windows Phone 7, apart from having an awful name, is, well, that wasn't too bad. You know, it's not too bad at all, which isn't really a glowing endorsement, is it?
They've announced a new update to it, which they promised they would deliver in January, but now it's going to be happening in March, which should fix some of the bugs that people have been complaining about.
Some of the foibles. Yeah.
I
really,
personally,
in the smartphone, it's all right, isn't it? But in the smartphone race, it's Android versus Apple.
Yeah, but there should always be a third player in there, shouldn't there?
The Linux of the operating system world. Yeah.
That's funny, though, you describe Microsoft as the Linux. That's quite, who would have thought?
Oh, look, I've probably offended 90% of the geeks out there right now, which is in one fell swoop. That's quite good. That's good for a start for a Friday morning.
Yeah.
But it is, and I agree with you, a strong third operating system is never a bad thing. And, if Microsoft's your third choice, well, that's a pretty vibrant, exciting market. Because Microsoft is very good at making software. You know, they aren't giant and enormous because they're mediocre at it. They actually do quite well. And, more power to them. Will this save Nokia, though, is the question. And I wonder if it's bold enough.
See, I think, here's where I sit on this. I think the operating system is good enough. Yeah. The challenge is now for Nokia to create handsets that come in at a price range that will appeal to the mass market. Kind of what Android is doing with some of their lower end, or manufacturers are doing with Android at a lower end.
That's right.
Nokia needs to do that. Yeah.
And Nokia does make really good handsets. They're in the position they're in because, despite Symbian, not because of Symbian. They've done well despite that, probably because of the handsets themselves, and that's been really quite good. Yeah. Oh well, we'll keep following that one. Obviously, we'll be looking forward to seeing the new handsets hit the shelves. So hopefully before the end of the year, I'd imagine they should be able to get them out the door pretty soon. Well, it's all sitting there ready to go. Let's just plug it in.
Now, breaking news this morning. A new service has just been announced for the US, Australia and New Zealand, which is entirely strange because most things don't get released in New Zealand at the same time they're released in the US.
In the US? No.
It's called Sony Music Unlimited. It's a service featuring 6 million tracks from Sony Music Entertainment, Universal, EMI and Warner. Basically, that's all of them.
That's the whole lot.
And is available on Sony's own devices, including the PS3, Blu-ray disc players, Bravia televisions, Vio PCs will also be available on Android smartphones soon, with an iOS app coming later on this year.
Oh, that's very interesting.
A basic membership provides an interactive radio experience for $3.99 per month, and I guess that's American, while a premium $9.99 per month service gives subscribers on-demand access to the Music Unlimited library with the ability to manage your music through playlists and the like.
That's quite cool.
This is huge. Is it nothing like this has ever been released in New Zealand?
No. So that means that in effect you turn your PS3 into not just a game console and a media centre for movies and television, but also into your music library.
Yeah.
Instantly, overnight.
It's kind of like your iTunes music library in the
comfort
cloud.
of your own lounge.
Yeah.
So I do need a good excuse now to upgrade those speakers, don't I? That's bloody good. So what that means is that you've now got lots of choices to where you buy the music from. Sony hopefully will erase all memory of the dark days where it was installing rootkit software on its CDs and trying to take ownership of your computer.
Yeah.
There you copy the software, the music, and corner a whole new market before anybody else, which is really quite exciting.
Yeah, so and as far as I can tell, it's not you can't download the tracks, but you can stream them on demand whenever you want.
So what sort of codec? Does it say anything about how the quality of the music? Because obviously you can get it in various different types when you're streaming.
Yeah, no, nothing about the technical details of how it's delivered. No, but you'd imagine you'd be high bit rates, low bit rates.
Well, yeah, you would hope so, wouldn't you? And of course, then you've got to work out how much data you'll be using on this on your ISP.
Yeah.
So so you've got to hook up your PS3 to your internet connection and rock and roll. I might give that a go this weekend.
Well, you'd hope that that Sony might be having some arrangements with New Zealand ISPs to make sure it doesn't count against your data quota.
Your data cap. Well, we're already seeing that, aren't we, with iSky, and a number of the providers are offering Sky's internet version of its TV service over the broadband connection, 0 rated, so that it doesn't count against your data. And in this instance, you would hope there'd be some kind of money sharing scheme between them and the ISPs to make it all work, and so that everybody's happy and we don't get stung. So in effect, you could listen to internet radio finally in New Zealand.
Yeah, and what do you reckon? Sort of $4 or
$8? Call it 8 New Zealand.
Yeah, 8 New Zealand or 15 New Zealand, depending on if you want a premium membership. A month, just to listen to unlimited music.
Right.
Yeah,
that's 3 coffees. On the coffee scale of things, that's a win.
That's not bad,
I'd be quite happy with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, we'll give it a go this week, and maybe we'll report back next week on how we feel about it.
Find out how to download it and get access to it.
Cool.
Excellent.
Thanks very much, Paul.
No fear. Thank you for that.
Cheers. Check him out on Twitter, twitter.com/.